Good morning. Welcome to the annual Charles L. Whistler Awards Ceremony Breakfast. This is the highest civic leadership award given by the Mayor of Indianapolis. My name is Beth White, and I am the Executive Director of the Greater Indianapolis Progress Committee, also known as Gypsy. So as my husband likes to say, I am the head gypsy. So be careful. We'd like to thank Fagery Baker Daniels for their title sponsorship of today's event. Charles Whistler was a partner at what was then Baker & Daniels, and every year the law firm of now Fagery Baker Daniels is a wonderful supporter of this special event to honor his memory and the service he provided to our community, which was significant. I'd like to acknowledge the elected and representatives of elected officials who are here today, and I would ask you to hold your applause until all are recognized. Former Mayor and former Senator Dick Lugar, representing Senator Donnelly, Brandon Herbert, representing Senator Young, Monica Kozlowski, representing Congressman Carson, Megan Sims, representing Congressman Brooks, Karen Glazier, Councilor Duke Oliver, Councilor Blake Johnson, and Councilor Stephen Clay. Will you join me in thanking these leaders for their service to our community? I would also like to recognize Mayor Hogsett, who is here this morning, and we'll be hearing from him a little bit later. In addition, there are numerous members of the Mayor's Cabinet who are here today who serve us every day in our community. If those members of the Mayor's Cabinet and other representatives of the city would stand so that we might thank them for their service, I would appreciate it. I would also like to recognize Phil Whistler, who is the son of Charles Whistler and a partner at the law firm of Ice Miller. In addition, we are honored to have a third generation of the Whistler family today, Mary Whistler, who is the granddaughter of Charles Whistler. Thank you for being here, Mary. Finally, in recognition of our honoree, Andre Lacy's long commitment to our community, and specifically the Indianapolis Public Schools, I'd like to recognize Mary Ann Sullivan, the current president of the IPS School Board. Thank you for being here. Andre Lacy is a proud graduate of an IPS high school, Shortridge. In addition, he served for a time as president of the IPS School Board. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the chair of the Greater Indianapolis Progress Committee Board, Jeff Gaither, who is the managing partner in charge of the Bosa McKinney & Evans law firm.
For over 50 years now, Gypsy, the Greater Indianapolis Progress Committee, has partnered with the mayors of the city of Indianapolis. Not long after Mayor Hogsett asked me to become involved with Gypsy, I was able to enjoy a long lunch in Washington with Mayor Hudna. Mayor Hudna was a great supporter of Gypsy. He had lots of good advice for me. He had some great stories about the early days at Gypsy. But one thing he said in particular that I remembered was this: Gypsy at its best allows a mayor to step back from the day-to-day exigencies of running a great city and band together with a group of concerned citizens for the sole purpose of improving the long-term future of our city, without regard to partisan politics or short-term thinking and its limitations. And it's in that spirit, then, that Gypsy has partnered with a series of mayors on projects such as the I-465 Loop, Unigov, Eskenazi Health, the Race and Cultural Relations Leadership Network, and Project Indy, Mayor Hogsett's initiative to provide thousands of summer jobs and job readiness training to the youth of Indianapolis. Once every year, we are also delighted at Gypsy to assist the mayor in presenting the Charles L. Whistler Award, the highest honor that he bestows every year. So I want to thank each and every one of you for coming here today so that we could honor Andre Lacy and his delightful legacy to this city for his years of service If we could all aspire to be citizens of Indianapolis like Mr. Lacy, we would have a finer city indeed. So thank you all for coming. I'd now like to introduce Stephen Carlson, the Dean of the Christ Church Cathedral, for our invocation this morning.
Thank you very much. Let us pray. O God, the life of all who live, the light of the faithful, the strength of those who labor, and the repose of the dead. Accept, O Lord, our thanks and praise for all that you have done for us. We thank you for the splendor of the whole creation, the beauty of this world, for the wonder of life, and for the mystery of love. We thank you for setting us at tasks which demand our best efforts, and for leading us to accomplishments which satisfy and delight us. We give thanks this day for all who are engaged in building up our common life in the greater Indianapolis community, and especially for those whose civic vision has called us to solve problems, to rise to new challenges, and to come together in partnership for the blessing of our diverse neighbors. We give thanks for these visionaries, for the past recipients of the Whistler Award, and today for the service of Culinary Lacy. Thank you for his work in business and finance, for wealth created and wealth shared. Thank you for his leadership across all areas of Indianapolis life, for his generosity to the fields of education and in caring for those who in need, in service to his church, and in investing in the future of our leaders. We give thanks for him and for his family, remembering and honoring also this day Julia. Gracious God, inspire us to add to the work of these leaders and to build up our common life. May we not rest until all our neighbors share the benefits our city has to offer. This we ask in the name of all that is true, all that is honorable, all things just, pure, lovely, and gracious, all things excellent and worthy of praise. Amen.
Since its establishment in 1965, the Greater Indianapolis Progress Committee, GIPSY, has been the driving force behind the public-private partnerships that transformed Indianapolis into a world-class city. Early projects included development of Eagle Creek Park and the Downtown Convention Center, as well as the groundbreaking passage of unified city-county government known as Unigov. At the forefront of these accomplishments were GIPSY's early leaders, including attorney Charles L. Whistler. A native Hoosier, Whistler spent his entire career with the law firm now known as Faegre Baker Daniels. Throughout that career, Whistler generously volunteered his time and considerable talent to assist in improving Indianapolis.
Chuck was a great guy. He came off the farm, out of the farmland, so he understood working for the future, taking care of seed corn, building things, great work ethic, cared about others, saw solutions, understood problems and issues, but always was in the effort to try to build the solution, create the solution.
The Progress Committee came along with at least the thrusts of leadership of some civic persons. Now, Chuck Whistler was among the group, but he became especially important because his legal skills led to the drafting, as I recall, of most of the legislation that we finally offered during the General Assembly of 1969.
As Chuck Whistler was assisting in the transformation of the city, the Greater Indianapolis Progress Committee was gaining momentum as a bipartisan alliance of community leaders dedicated to improvement of the city. Today, GIPSY continues its role as a convener of thought, dialogue, and action aimed at improving Indianapolis and enhancing its image. With more than 100 members, GIPSY remains the driving force behind efforts that have made Indianapolis a world-class city. From improved race relations to cultural and arts programs to the new Eskenazi Hospital on the Wishart campus.
The Progress Committee has really covered the entire waterfront, I think, in terms of the development of Indianapolis. At the beginning, it was really the very structure of government. But for GIPSY, there wouldn't have been Unigov. Then we got into a bricks and mortar phase, which we've really continued over the years, extending from the convention center to most recently our advocacy for the building of a new hospital for the most needy of our community.
That has been the value of the Progress Committee and its leadership over the years, is to look at these community-wide issues with its broad-based membership and figure out the best way to get things resolved. That's what Chuck Whistler was all about. That's what the Progress Committee is all about.
In honor of Chuck Whistler's legacy, Gypsy leaders presented the first annual Charles L. Whistler Award in 1983. Today, the Whistler Award is the highest honor that can be bestowed on a citizen who has brought together Indianapolis's public and private sectors for city improvement.
When you receive an award from somebody who helped shape your life, it becomes very, very special. And Chuck Whistler was special to me, and winning the award made it even more special.
The award extends the recognition of the importance of the work that it represents, the importance of people trying to do leadership work that serves the best interests of the broader community, that takes on the challenges that need to be assumed, that provides imaginative and creative thought to the solutions of those problems. Chuck did all that, and it extends the recognition of the importance of that. And then obviously the anchor to it is the public-private nature of the recognition of the award. People working across sectors of the community to try to make things better for everybody.
The name of each recipient of the Whistler Award is engraved on a bronze and granite monument located in the Charles L. Whistler Memorial Plaza outside the city market. As Indianapolis continues to develop, the Greater Indianapolis Progress Committee looks forward to presenting the Charles L. Whistler Award to those individuals who follow in Chuck Whistler's footsteps as servant leaders, inspiring others to dedicate their time and talents to the success of this great city.
Well, it's really hard to paint a picture without having a whole wall to do a mural for Andre's impact in this community. In some respects, the first word that comes to mind is pioneer, because he's maybe at his best when he's doing something novel, unconventional, groundbreaking. And then I think about the cultural trail. So when Brian Payne and the folks at the Central Indiana Community Foundation began to imagine the possibilities, Andre and his family were the first people that they reached out to. And I'm sure without Andre's help financially and his perseverance, it wouldn't be a reality today. Andre is a pioneer and an innovator, but of course he's been a very generous donor to major institutions, not the least of which is now the Butler Business School. So his impact has just been enormous.
He's done 100 things, of course, all for the benefit of others. His leadership of the Indiana State Fair as chairman of their board has been exceptional. The Indiana State Fair is one of the great gems, hidden assets of our state and our city, and he led the effort to revitalize, rejuvenate the complex, and it's as busy a place as there is in the country.
Andre has taken the organization of the Indiana State Fair institution under his arm, and one of the things that he has brought with him as chairman of the State Fair Commission is really understanding the business of our institution. Again, he's used his knowledge and background and applied that to the commission. And what that means is he's made this institution even better.
Every time you turn around, there seems to be something that he has touched, and certainly the Butler gift as well. A common element that I see is that he really is educating people through those initiatives. He's given back to the educational components of whether it's a nonprofit or a university or the community. And that really is quite gracious. It's Also something that I guess makes sense given that Andre is so kind of well-versed and he thinks deeply about a wide variety of issues with a particular focus on the educational part. Here's an individual that understands investment. So what I see is his interest and willingness to invest in education of individuals, education of the larger community, and also to make sure that that educational, that intellectual stimulation lives for a long, long time. The impact goes far beyond dollars and cents. The impact is in human beings, and those human beings continue to kind of prosper and contribute back to the community in so many ways moving forward.
When I met Andre, like I said, I was an 8th grader, and I wasn't really a goal setter. He made me that. You know, he made me somebody who set goals and to strive and to hit those goals, you know, every step of the way. And he's pushed me to set my goals even higher as, you know, we go along. He does so much around here, so we do have to work around that stuff, you know, whether it's Indianapolis Motor Speedway or the State Fair and just stuff like that. And Starfish is an example. You know, he took that into his already busy schedule to be there for me, and you know, it was something that he'd never done before, and obviously I'd never done it before, but it was one of those things where I'm so appreciative of him, you know, spending his time on stuff like that, because it's so beneficial in the long run, whether he realizes it or not.
Andre Lacy and I have been friends for 30, 40 years at least. He's an incredible man. He combines all of the best qualities of a truly brilliant business mind and business leader, great family man, and a terrific citizen of our city and our state.
I just think Andre is as deserving as any human being in Indianapolis could possibly be. He cares deeply about the city and the state. He makes every organization that he comes in contact with better through his personal leadership and commitment to those organizations.
As I look at what he's done in the community, whether that's the Motor Speedway or Boy Scouts or when he was the head of the 500 Festival, I think everything he's touched that I've heard of and I've seen him touch has continually gotten extremely better given his leadership. And I also go back to thinking about him being involved in a lot of these community groups, and he has always been the leader. And so he has this built-in characteristic of rising into that leadership role and building those visions for those organizations in the community.
All I could say is that there's not anybody more deserving. You know, he's done so much, and there's so much that people see of what he does, but there's so much that people don't see as well that he does, you know, even behind the scenes. And that is why I think he does deserve this award as much as anybody.
Now I could not be any more delighted to have the honor of introducing one of the finest gentlemen the state of Indiana has ever produced, former mayor and United States Senator Richard Licker.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Dear friends, this has been the most eventful 24 hours of my life for a long time, and the climax comes right now. Whistler Award for Andre Lacy. I would just say that, as many of you in Gypsy know, 52 years ago, Gypsy was founded, and a celebration was held of the 50th anniversary 2 years ago, which was quite a time because it brought together 5 living mayors at that time. We have lost dear Bill Hudnut, And meanwhile, but that particular night, Gypsy offered us an opportunity to relay our experiences, and they flowed one after another. We're not mayors that backtracked or criticized the one before or after and so forth, but the building of a great city. And Gypsy was so important and responsible for the continuity of all that. Well, skip to yesterday, less than 24 hours ago, and Mayor Hogsett presented to someone who was once called by Arlen Specter, Senator from Pennsylvania, the boy mayor of Indianapolis. Boy mayor was recognized. There were 5 mayors again around for that recognition, and it was a truly exciting moment. And then on to Butler University, President Danko, great leadership that he is giving, and the very strong student body and alumni representation. Includes Hall last night is Lee Hamilton night, mused about the future with Sue Alston. But now, then, after a good night's sleep, the climax of all of this, and that is the Whistler Award. Once again, Mayor Hogsett and DeVaga was here, and I appreciate that. Mayor Bart Peterson, likewise. I appreciate that, and Jim Morris, my friend all the way from the very beginning of the mayor days. President Danko and Bethany are here today, and most importantly, Andre Lacy is here today. Andre Lacy, some of you know, was an alumni of Denison University, which is my alma mater. He was a classmate of my sister Ann, who attended Denison University at the very same time. And she sends her love to Andre today because he meant much to her during that period of time in their lives. It was a joy because my mother and Edna Lacy, Andre's mother, were very, very dear friends. We heard a lot about the Lacy family through that generation during that period of time. And finally, I appreciate likewise the naming of this award for Charles Chuck Whistler. He was so important during my opportunity to serve as mayor of Indianapolis. He made a huge difference, not only in his legal expertise, but in his sense of civic expansion. I appreciated him so much, and I'm so grateful that he is being honored the naming of this award to the most important citizen each year who does the most for our city. I just say to all of you, I love Indianapolis. I love Indianapolis as each of you do. I'm so proud of Andre Lacy and the Whistler Award, so proud of Gypsy, so thankful to be here with you this morning. Thank you very much.
Now I'd like to welcome our mayor and our friend, Mr. Joe Hogsett. Mayor Hogsett.
Well, indeed, good morning to everyone. Senator, it has been a marvelous 24-hour period for our city. I am filled with joy today. You know, Senator identified that we had all of our mayors with us yesterday, and Mayor Peterson, who's my dear friend and colleague, when he was asked to speak, said, you know, being a mayor is a challenging task. He said, you cannot have a bad day. You're not allowed to have a bad day when you're the mayor. And when it came my turn to speak, I said, well, Bart, you're truly speaking as a former mayor. I don't have bad days. Every day is a good day. Some are just better than others. And today, Andre, today is indeed a good day for our city. I do want to recognize Senator Lugar again. His presence has graced us all and frankly makes this gathering this morning even better than it already would be. I want to thank Jeff Gaither for his chairmanship of Gypsy, our executive director, Beth White. Where is Beth? She? Somewhere. Probably out raising money. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge and recognize in advance of Jeff's leadership, Murray Clark and Deborah Daniels, who served honorably on the executive committee. In fact, Senator Clark, as I understand it, just celebrated his 60th birthday not too long ago. So happy birthday, Senator Clark. Thank you for your leadership. And I would be remiss if I did not thank the law firm of Faber Baker Daniels for serving as this morning's title sponsor. Please join me in thanking Faber Baker Daniels. Senator Lugar, by the way, in the interest of full disclosure, I want to celebrate. I'm going to talk too long this morning. Barbara, I'm sorry. We have so much to celebrate. Senator Lugar mentioned the 50th anniversary, and that was a transformative event. I was campaigning for this office at the time, so I was not on the stage, but in the crowd. And as the senator has indicated, to see a Lugar and a Hudnut and a Goldsmith and a Peterson and a Ballard on stage answering the questions that were presented to them, and as the senator accurately recalls, each and every one of them talked about building the legacy of our modern Indianapolis. Not backsliding, not changing course, not correcting, but building on that which had gone before. Which frankly, my friends, on mornings like this morning, we need to remind ourselves that it makes us a special city. Because while we all maybe have our partisan inclinations, at Gypsy, we check those at the door. And we come together for the future as one city. And we focus on that which unites us as a community. And we intensely attempt to make our city a better community, even better than it already is. I'm so proud of Gypsy for those reasons. And today we celebrate Andre Lacy with the 2017 Charles L. Whistler Award, as has been memorialized in film, an award founded to honor those who have pioneered Indianapolis' tradition of progress through what we do better than any other community: public-private partnerships. We have the corner on that here in our great city. For time and time again, we have acknowledged and recognized Indianapolis' finest leaders. Those leaders of our community who have set aside their personal interests in favor of seeking common ground for our greater good. And so it is fitting that Andre Lacy is our 2017 recipient, as his service to our community has been exemplary. As a business leader, his track record has been impeccable. Since Lacy Diversified Industries remains one of the great state of Indiana's largest private companies, but beyond his role with the business, Andre has been a strong advocate throughout his life for civic progress, serving in roles with the United Way of Central Indiana, the Indianapolis 500 Festival, the State Fair, as well as the Cultural Trail Fundraising Committee. Indeed, the list of successful business and organizations that have benefited from Andre's leadership goes on and on and on. And I could continue reading them here, and we'd all walk away incredibly impressed. But there is a difference between one's resume and one's legacy. And you don't garner such a legacy as Andre has by simply leading a successful company. No. You do so by sticking to your principles, no matter the challenge that comes. Integrity, innovation, a sense of responsibility, and the accountability that comes with it. That's what legacies are made of. Perhaps that's one of the luxuries of having one's business and the business's dealings run so synonymously with family. You never lose sight of what truly matters. That is indeed Andre. And because of that, because of his contributions to this community and those with which he has inspired, our children, your children, my children, inherit an Indianapolis even better than the one we've enjoyed calling home. So today, on behalf of every citizen of Indianapolis, if I may be so presumptuous, I want to thank you, Andre, for your incredible career and a life led in service to others. So I've talked too long. But importantly, and without further ado, I'd like to invite Andre on stage and ask you all to please join me in welcoming the Charles Whistler Award winner for 2017.
Good morning. It is indeed an honor and an opportunity for me to address you this morning. When I think of Charles Whistler, Charles L. Whistler, the phrase good to great comes to mind. He embodied that phrase, being a man who never settled for the status quo. And I get that. I believe in the philosophy of leaving things better than when I found them. But that only happens when we say, I'm in, and really give of ourselves after making that statement. Years ago, Julie and I, we saw what we observed to be a decline in the quality of the Indianapolis public schools, which our three sons were students. And we knew that we had to step up. We had to be in. So after all, I was a short grad and a product of public education, and believe very definitely in public education, as witnessed with our three boys attending. So Joy and I, we decided to flip a coin to see who would be determined to enter the gladiator arena running for the school board. I lost the coin toss, but I won the opportunity. I got a real education in serving on the IPS school board at the time. Believe me, there were times when I really realized that I got the short straw. But that education opened my eyes, and it honed me, and from it, class, Community Leaders Allied for Superior Schools, a forum of business leaders dedicated to reforming K-12, was initiated. And I see its influence, and very happily see its influence still alive today, as we see the progress shaping our schools, and I'm grateful for all who have stepped up and also said, I'm in. Together we make a better way toward a troubled time. Along with quality education, society needs to pay homage to its heritage, and the State Fair Coliseum became that opportunity. I'm truly attached to that building, which I call the Grand Lady. We were born in the same year, 1939, and both lived through the same decades together to watch the world change around us. And when the call came to restore the iconic piece of Indiana history, well, there was no question. I was in. And the others were there too, because just like class, it had to be a team effort. Restoring the Coliseum was nothing short of a feat. And all of the vision and planning, $10 million seed money, navigating the bond issue, working with daunting phases of design, engineer, and construction. But ultimately, the Coliseum was restored to its grand glory, and under budget, I'm proud to say. Today, the Coliseum brings in private dollars for the help to support the state fairgrounds, which operates almost entirely on the revenue it earns. In fact, many that really don't appreciate or are aware of. What made the Coliseum project such a success was the passion of the people from the public and the private backgrounds to make things better, to get on the court and play the game, and we delivered a victory. I truly enjoy that team spirit. I like putting a check in the win column. But the best victories are those that create a win-win. That's how I would describe the opportunity to invest in Butler Business School. I've had a long relationship with Butler over many decades, starting with its business accelerator initiative. In fact, as Dave Shane succeeded me as CEO of LEI, he was serving on the Business Accelerator Advisory Board, and I took his place, and he took but to both of us, best opportunity. But I have had that long relationship, and I also have 46 years of know-how in bringing together what is now a billion-dollar enterprise in its fourth generation as a family-owned operation. Butler has long understood that the future of America and Hoosier businesses lies in closely held companies, multiple generational family-owned businesses, each one an economic engine within itself, making up 90% of the Hoosier economy. Butler gets that, and it knows our young people will be driving that engine in the future. Working with business leaders like myself, Butler is directly training students to work in and lead those closely held businesses. That's an anomaly amongst business schools. Butler having championing the closely held business as its value proposition. And as Jim Danko knows, that is one of the main drivers that Julia and I had in being attracted to Butler, is that differentiation of a value proposition championing closely held business. It's exciting, it's needed, it's differentiating, and it's the reason Julia and I decided we were in to the tune of $25 million. Each of us has the power to be a catalyst, to discover something new, to strike out in new directions, and to push beyond the status quo. Yet no matter what our sphere of life or our resources, we all have an opportunity to leave things better than we found them. We can all imitate Charles Whistler to say, I'm in, and to move our community from good to great. Again, thank you for this opportunity to be with you this morning, and thank you for this very, very wonderful honor.
Thank you, Mr. Lacy, and congratulations again. I'd like to recognize our sponsors for this morning who have made this event possible. Our partner-level sponsors are RepuCare CEO Billy Dragoo, LDI Limited, Yvonne Shaheen, and Fairbanks. Our associate-level sponsors are IUPUI, Ivy Tech, the Mind Trust, Wish TV and WNDY TV, and the Clark Companies. In addition, I'd like to thank Kathy Lee, Chancellor of Ivy Tech, for her hospitality this morning in this wonderful space and all of those who served us this morning. I'd like to recognize and thank the members of the Whistler Selection Committee, Murray Clark, Chair, Deborah Daniels, Toby McClanrock, Greg Schenkel, Yvonne Shaheen, Greg Hahn, and Jeff Gaither. Thank you for being here. I want to finally thank all of you for your attendance this morning. Congratulations again to Mr. Lacy, and we are adjourned. We'll see you next year.